everyone and welcome to Eastside Cycling. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite roads to ride on here on the east side near where I live. We're just east of Coal Creek Parkway on May Valley Road, and in this video we'll be riding for 3.4 miles towards eastwards towards Renton-Issaquah Road. Though this whole May Valley Road stretches from west to east for 10 miles, and you can go all the way to Issaquah Hobart Road, where then you can connect to a lot of cool places. For example, you can go towards the southeast on Cedar River Grove Road, and then towards onto the Cedar River Trail, and then towards Maple Valley for a lot of good country riding. Or you can sort of go northbound towards Issaquah, which then you can reach the Cougar mountain climbs very easily. Things like the Squawk Mountain climb, the Zoo Hill climb, and the Montreux climb that I've all featured on this channel, and of course are my personal favorites. So let's get on to some reasons why this is one of my favorite routes here. One of the main things is that it's a fantastic escape from the city. So I live in South Bellevue, and within sort of a 10-15 minute ride, I can get sort of this whole different vibe, getting expansive views, farmlands, seeing barns and horses, and just wide open sort of landscapes, and it's just a really nice breath of fresh air in that way. And it's very unique to not be able to have to drive out to a far place to reach things like that. I know there's probably similar rides depending on where you live, but at least in the sort of South Bellevue area near the I-90, this is sort of one of those classics, and there's a ton of cyclists that use this route probably for that reason. As you look onto the south side, if you keep going down, this is going to be Renton, but this in the May Valley area, there's just this whole sort of really flat area where there's just a ton of things to see. And on that mentioning of it being flat, another great reason I like this route is because it's sort of like a 10-mile time trial, in a sense that it means that there's not really any other sort of bike traffic or pedestrian traffic. It's sort of just you and the cars, which I'll talk more on later, but with that, there's also no traffic lights, so having a 10 miles pretty much flat, and riding eastbound, just with how the winds around here work, I feel like you always get somewhat of a little tailwind. It's a pretty fun experience. It's the only other similar thing to that I would say around here is that gets me the same sort of feelings, maybe Mercer Island. So Mercer Island has a lot more turning and cornering, and there is a lot more other people and cars around depending on when you're riding and where. So but then in both those ways, at least it's that similar feeling, that feeling that you can sort of go all out on this road and not feel too concerned, and then just having a concerted effort because there's no traffic lights to sort of break the flow. So I filmed this back in the spring when I had access to a 360 camera, and that's sort of a lot of the effects that you've been seeing with me panning left and right, but here I'll pan it back to the right here as we now get really full capture of those amazing views that I've been talking repeatedly about. And yeah, I think recently with all the rain, there definitely can be, it can turn it into a bit of a marshland, but even still, it's sort of amazing just having these sort of sites in an area that's, at least here in South Bellevue, it's not that dense, but like changing from just seeing house after house to just whole wide open sort of ranch and this red barn right here that I love passing each time. It's a great feeling. But yeah, in terms of the road conditions here, basically you can sort of see it before, but there's definitely not going to be a consistently wide shoulder. The speed limit here is either going to be 30 miles per hour or 25 miles per hour. So in that way, basically, you're going to have to be pretty comfortable with cars. Only on the easterly sections have I ever ran into a semi-truck, an actual big vehicle. Generally on this portion from Coal Creek to Renton-Issaquah Road, you're not going to see any huge vehicles, but you definitely will see a variety of like sort of smaller trucks and things. So in that way, definitely ride with a heads up, and make sure you're comfortable with cars before taking on a route like this. So generally speaking, of course, I would still say that it's pretty safe, but in order to sort of maximize your enjoyment, I definitely say pick a time that's not rush hour to ride on this road, because people do end up using this road during those times to connect to those different places. But anyway, yeah, back to these views again. It's just simply great. And yeah, on the south side here is the May Valley with Renton just over past it, and then behind us, sort of on the left, is we're going to be riding past Cougar Mountain. And I'll point out a few places because actually there's a few nice climbs on this side as well, including the climb video that I did on that super steep section on 208th place where it reached like 30% gradients. The access point to that climb is from here at May Valley too. So this whole west-east corridor is definitely super duper useful, and it's a great place to just get a bunch of riding done out here in the still King County area. One of my favorite things to do with this whole route and road is to just make big loops, basically giving me a whole flat portion to ride and then finishing off with some nice climbs in the Cougar Mountain area. So that's I'll link an example below, but I basically stay near Newcastle, or like, so I can basically use Coal Creek and then use this to get a bigger loop in right into Issaquah, and then finish with the climbs of my choice before heading home. So even though you might not live that close to here, it's definitely worth riding out here and checking it out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please roll over the like button and subscribe. It'll definitely help motivate me a lot, as I know right now it's the off season, so I am going to try to still release at least once or twice a week of just a lot of the footage actually I just have filmed all throughout the year. And then I'll start fresh with 2022 as the riding season can come up again, and I'll have a bunch of other videos to show you, as I'm really trying to go for filling up the entire King County map so that you guys can have sort of a visual of what kind of rides there are along here, some nice information, or if you just want to come along and check out the sites, I'm all for that as well. But as we come along here, we're actually transitioning onto 164th. So this is a road that if you did not want to ride the whole the whole May Valley corridor east to west, you can go straight here and make a couple turns to sort of cut right through to the Cedar River Trail, which is a fantastic trail that I will do a video on later. But you have to make a left here to continue onto May Valley Road, and sort of not really easily visible on the screen, but if you see here on the left, there's sort of this slight fork, and there's going to be a dead end sign as well. But this is one of the two climbs that I would definitely try out if you're riding out here on May Valley. It's sort of what I like to call like a up, around, and down, where it's basically those climbs where you just sort of go up to a residential neighborhood, and then it sort of circles back and you just ride back down the same hill. That one is a very good hill to do. It's not the steepest thing, but there's definitely a good amount of elevation, and it's always fun sort of descending those and coming back down here. So yeah, moreover from just having this flat route to do as you're riding along, there's going to be things like that where since this is the south side of Cougar Mountain, there's just a couple places to do some climbing, and that's one of the main ones that will be featured in this video. But yeah, there's honestly a lot of this is for just me wanting to show off a lot of the views for you all, and if you have not tried this route, to really recommend it to you guys to try out in the next, whenever you get a chance. If it's a little far for you in terms of places I recommend sort of accessing this, yeah, I think anywhere just around the South Bellevue area where you can't, like even from the Mercer Island Park and ride, for example, riding all the way out to here, that's probably still gonna be about like just 8 miles or so, but you can get even closer, probably right in downtown Newcastle, and then you can do this route as I'm showing you now. But there's a lot of cool things to see, but I think that's all I had for this video to talk about. And up ahead is going to be actually the traffic light at Renton Issaquah, and that's probably one of the only big gripes I have about this route, is that unless you use a really big or heavier metal bike, or the car sensor won't pick you up. and because this is sort of an arterial road, the sensor, it won't change light unless it detects a car there. So in that way, you either have to sort of be blessed by having a car behind you, or just go ahead and click on the lights, and you have to sort of make this three-way sort of crossing if you want to do it completely legitly across. And you can't really jaywalk the road either, because it's pretty much a highway. It's 4 lanes of pretty fast traffic. So if you can pull up with that, otherwise there's really nothing. This is just one of my favorite roads to ride on. So, but anyway, I think I'll have the rest of the video just showing for you all with some background music. But that's all I had for this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.